Hey, if you enjoy what I do, please drop a like on the video, click the bell if you want to, not necessary, and drop a comment. Want to give me feedback. I'm doing it like this because I'm pretty bad at selling out when I'm recording videos. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you there. Alright, there is going to be some bias in this video because out of all the Sakura faces, Melt is my favorite. Also, like, her, like, Ascension costume is just, like, looking good. Goes from, like, costume, silly, childish, to being a ballerina, the prima ballerina. If you have Nemo, Melt, this version of Melt is almost a must summon. Because without Melt, Nemo's use cases are even more situational than they already are. With him requiring a water field battlefield, someone that can provide that on demand for him, very, very useful. Ups his damage dramatically. Like, and it's not just like an arts buff, it's also like other buffs. It's also like it's also an attack buff too, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his first skill is also a charisma if he's on water field. And also affects his MP as well. So having someone that ups his damage that much, like, I think it would actually show here. Yes, 20% attack up, art up, and MP damage. That's a lot of things. Those are 3 buffs that just straight up multiply into each other along with his other buffs. So if you got Nemo, you like Nemo. I know there's a person in my chat that loves like pirate servants and sea servants. This is a must summon for you. Otherwise, your Nemo, you're only going to be able to bring him certain places, certain boss fights. Also, I like that her costume is her just putting on shades. That is okay. So base attack, average for 4-star, HP again average. Star weight, star gen, again typical Lancer. This is a little bit higher. I think it actually does show the numbers here on what the average is. Yes, base star weight, so slightly higher than average. Star weight, star gen. MB charge 0.76. I would have liked this to be higher, but her hit counts though. These are good hit counts. These are very good hit counts. Very modern. For a Lancer to not have, like, to actually be able to gen their own stars, like following an arts card, like MP quick. Good stuff. She won't have to rely on her MP to make stars, although that makes more sense. Her MP can gen stars as an art servant. It's very nice. 5-hit extra attack. As a Lancer, she actually does have one of the better refunding and star genning extra attacks, just like by default. Or not by default, but because her MP charge is at 0.76. This extra attack will gen stuff. So QABs actually will look pretty good. Although those aren't on NA right now. It's something there. Okay, first skill. One of the things she is most famous for is having a 125% uptime on this skill. What does that mean? Before this skill comes off cooldown, you can pop it again. For 3-turn farming, if you put on the Atlas uniform, that means you can double stack this skill before you hit wave 3. So if you're able to do it, which running double cast or you probably you should be able to do it even without a black rail. Like, I know from like, experience. Sorry, that is not the team. I know from experience that Melt can do this. Now hers isn't leveled. I also don't have her pen. I probably should work on that. That's probably gonna be a minute. I know that she can do it. It's there. if you can get MP2, you'll be in a much better situation just because you can unlock her mana loading a pen, which makes farming infinitely easier with her. Infinitely easier. But yeah, like that, it would be more ideal if you were able to double stack this off the first term. That would require using Bitch, which I do not recommend you using Bitch for melt farming. But worst case scenario, you do not 3-turn farm. You at least still have a arts buff. You at least could double stack an arts buff to have 40% when all the other buffs are gone. And also by the time the first one goes away, like Castoria's buffs are gonna start coming back. So this fight shouldn't last longer than 6 turns at most with Mel. Even if like you mess up in wave 2 and just like stall out. Second skill, why she is Nemo support. Grants Waterside Battlefield for self for 3 turns. So as long as she's on the field for these 3 turns, Nemo will have all his buffs. So you cannot plug suit Melt out and like expect Nemo's damage to still be as good as it should be. She has to stay on the field. So using double Castoria, like it can definitely work with Nemo, but you're gonna have to either give up a Castoria or a Tamamo for Melt to be there, which that's really a numbers thing that you have to decide for yourself. Whether you're gonna whether you want to sacrifice like an extra Tamamo or an extra Castoria for the Waterside Battlefield. That is something you have to consider. But at the same time, like Nemo's damage is just not that. It's still good. Don't get me wrong. This damage still good. But remember, these are one time, like his Voyage of the Sea, I believe, his first skill. That MP damage and attack buff, that only lasts 1 turn. So yeah, like you kind of need the Waterside Battlefield to make his like not when he doesn't have that skill up, like at least slightly better than this. This chart definitely is misleading if you don't realize what skill servants have. Some of them have 1 turn effects, some of them have 3 turns. They don't separate. I kind of wish they did, but at the same time, that's what this sheet is for. Back to Mel. She also grants herself Invul and buff removal resistance, so any Amakusas cannot yeet this away if this skill is maxed out. Third skill, drains 30% from each party member and gives it to Melt, so up to a 60% battery. You can be a little tactical with this and not fully level it deliberately so that you don't drain as much as you could from your allies. But you're missing out on a huge attack buff for that. And okay, so here's the situational farming. Melt doesn't have a normal battery, so pen skill, she's at 20%. Your Castoria is at 20%. You pop both the Castoria's first skills. Both Melt and your Castoria are at 80%. You pop the 2 20% batteries on Melt and the Castoria. Boom, you can MP with both Castoria and your Melt, so she can carry that out through the rest of the farming. Next turn, you're able to get the MP with the other Castoria. Pop that, and then Melt's MP, because Melt should have looped 100% last turn. She should have. That turn one is literally the easiest wave in a node. And make sure that one of your Castorias, one of them is getting gauge, and then you have Melt's MP clears the wave. Third wave, Melt doesn't loop 100%, maybe because she didn't do enough damage. That's when you have the drain skill. But you have to remember, she cannot, like, if you're, like, she doesn't get any battery if your allies do not have battery. That's why, like, you can't, if you do Castoria, and then Melt in turn 2, the skill is dead. It's only attack buff. You're not going to drain. That can either be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're not able to loop 100% with Melt, bad thing. Very bad. Your loop is, like, dead, but at least now you have a crit turn. If you do loop, then you can just ignore that part. You don't need the battery. You just get a free attack buff along with Star Weight. And then all things good. But for, like, mine is MP1, so she's not hitting all the damage thresholds. Mine's not skill, like, doesn't have the skills level, not hitting the damage threshold. No append skill, so I can't even do that situational farming that I just talked about. Them's the breaks. So if you could get Melt at MP2, it would be very, very helpful. But I'm not telling you to go out and get MP2 if you're only looking for someone to enable Nemo. There's no point if you just want that. If you want a arts looper, sure. But Percival comes out in, what, 7 months? And he, like, yes, he outdamages Percival just barely. 1 turn. Percival's damage is very consistent. Yes. As you can see, like, that was the 1 turn attack that she just eviscerates Percival with Black Grail in 2004. I can't show the, like, other numbers where she does, like, this isn't there, but as you can see, he outdamages her most of the waves. Without Black Grail, he would definitely be outdamaging Melt. Melt might not even be looping 100%. This turn 3 blows him out the water, but it's not like his damage was nothing. Okay, passive skills, debuff resist 17.5%, also more goddess essence, so 37.5% base debuff resistance. Does have a crit skill to better go with this, so good. And writing, she has good quick guards, so that's good. High Servant doesn't do anything in game yet. We will see. I just said the use case. Get a pen skill if you want farming. If not, it really doesn't matter. MP, 3-hit arts, harder for farming. This is like Kiara, Summer Kiara. They have 3 hits. They need Black Rail. They need stuff to help them loot. Removes all enemies' evasion buffs when on a waterside battlefield, so make sure that this skill is popped and you can do that. Pierces defense, always. And drop stars for overcharge. So in that theoretical case about, like, trying to get a little more gauge for your Castoria so they don't get drained, you might have to decide whether you want to, like, chain the arts MP with melts, or, like, go Castoria face card, either one of them, and then melt. And the only difference is like 5 stars or something. That's carding though. You can't predict that. It's always random. So you just have to make decisions when they happen. Her Bond CE. Oh my god. If they actually make these Bond CEs, like, cost almost nothing, holy shit, is this one of the most broken ones. 20% arts and 30% crit damage, but reduces everyone else's in the party's crit damage by 10%. This is her first skill with a normal crit skill. Like, that, yeah, like, They're trying to think what servant just came out. They have like 30% arts or 30% buster, 30% quick, and then crit damage too. That this bond CE is equivalent to a skill. Like these, you see 10%. Oh, no, what? It's because it's all selfish. That's why. This is a selfish bond CE. Other bond CEs are to the party. This is just for her. But in like Castoria looping, do you care about whether your Castorias are doing more crit damage or not? Probably not. Crit damage applies to wave 3 when you have something tinky. Or in event farming, but you probably wouldn't use this CE in event farming. I think Melt is very good to have. She might. I wouldn't say fully invest in her being your arts looping farmer, because Percival is just straight up better. Way easier to enable. Does not need strict requirements for him to work. He can work at MP1 with like no append and like unleveled skills and still loop 100% with double Castoria. Melt needs a lot more, significantly more help to do that. Alright, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.